Brett Rheeder is a Canadian X Games gold medalist. He's one of the most successful riders in recent history in the disciplines of freeride and slopestyle mountain biking. Welcome to the Anthill Sunset podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Osborne. Join us on location with the world's best riders and the Anthill Films crew to explore the moments we capture from sunrise to sunset.
Oh, this is nice.
Let me know when you're ready.
Fun though, fast.
Fast. Hey, our dog.
Anytime!
Hey, man, it's Sunday.
That was awesome.
Yeah, nice one.
There's something addicting about a mountain bike.
Oh! That's the best.
This is the start of Brett's segment in Return to Earth. We're in Utah, and you can hear him walking up the desert sand. There's nothing else around us. A little bit of wind blowing the sand around as he walks high up in the mesa. There were two ravens that would meet us here every day. They would make all sorts of interesting calls. The Utah dirt is quite unique, and you can hear this as he's walking on it. Some of it's this harder, shaly type of rock that's crumbled down from above. Another is this soft layer that's dried after the rains and through wind exposure. Most of the crew are far back shooting with long lenses, and it's just Brett up there by himself. I think I'm actually the highest up of the crew, hidden in behind a rock with a microphone. He hikes up to the top and sits there for a while. You can hear on Brett's lab mic him breathing, and you can even hear his heart beating after his hike up and as he's prepping to drop in. Brett prepares himself and radios down to us to let us know that he's ready to go.
Let me know when you're ready.
Fraser's in charge of the drop, and CJ lets him know that he's ready to go.
Anytime, Fraser.
Then you hear Fraser radio up to Brett.
Okay, drop.
And now it's just on Rheeder. He takes a breath and rolls in. Brett drops in and pretty much straight lines his way down the mountainside. He picks up speed fast and then starts to put in a few slow skiing-like turns. It's only seconds so far, and he's quickly making his way towards me, all the time picking up more and more speed. You hear him fly past me and pulls down some debris with him as he goes. A few quick turns past some hidden microphones in the sand, and now he's up on top of a rock drop, and you can hear him breathing as he's setting himself up before he drops down into the next section. Two quick breaths and he's off. As the edit then changes over to Brett's slopestyle bike, you can hear the completely different sound of how the bike sounds. It's a completely different riding style as well, much more BMX-like, and you can hear this in his speed, the on and offs and the quick tire movements. You can hear his feet landing back on the pedal after tail whips as he catches the bike and moves on to his next trick. You hear Brett land, and then you can hear his breathing right afterwards, and it completely changes to how he was riding on the big bike. You can almost hear him more relaxed as he gets into this mindset so often for competition on a slopestyle bike. leave that segment there, as that full clip is up in RAW for the iTunes download. And join the interview with Brett that took place in Hawaii. Myself and Matthew Butterworth are talking to him on location, right next to Matt Hunter's tent, as he was furthest away from everybody.
That's why not sit in an enclosed truck.
Yeah.
This tent is hilarious. Look at it. He's way away from everyone, eh?
Yeah.
Like
Closest to the smart though, close to the bathroom, close
Yeah.
to coffee, snacks.
yeah.
Okay, so we're living pretty close here to where we've been filming during the day. How have you enjoyed the setup and the shoot location so far?
It's crazy. The container that I'm actually sleeping in faces the property that we're filming, and I can see the landings that we're riding up there. Like, it's pretty distinctive because the dirt's so red and the vegetation's so green that you can see everything right from bed.
Yeah, it's definitely been cool being able to see the jumps right from camp. It hasn't been all work every day. Have you been able to make the most of some free time and being so close to the beach?
Yeah, we've had some days off where the crew will grab surfboards and go to the beach and we'll try surfing. Well, I mean, at least I'll try surfing. Some of the other guys are pretty good, like Sterling and Hunter, and I think Darcy's pretty good. I'm terrible, absolutely terrible, but I still like to try. So we've been hitting the beach and trying to go surfing, and then me and some of the other slopestyle guys are hitting the skate park, which is right across the road from the Pipeline Beach. So yeah, I mean, probably almost a half dozen times we've hit that park just to cruise on our dirt jump bikes, and then trying to skateboard as well. I'm kind of trying to relearn how to skateboard since my childhood. So I brought a skateboard and trying to do that.
That's cool. What's it been like having such a collection of riders here?
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of feels like I'm at a contest almost, because lots of the slopestyle athletes that I compete against are here. But then I'm like, oh, it's an Anthill shoot, because I've been on many Anthill shoots before, like all the same crew, Darcy, Diz, CJ, and yeah, it's kind of surreal, like seeing like not the usual athletes that are in Anthill projects here on this trip. I think it's sweet, just pulling more people in and filming with different athletes. Yeah, it's a pretty unique group of riders here.
And does that feel rare to get a group like this all here at once?
Yeah, it's cool. You wouldn't really expect to have like the Hunters and the Casey Browns in the same shots as Tommy G and Emil, and then Carson too. It's like such a wide range of mountain bikers that do all different types of the sport, all compact into one shot. It's pretty cool.
So a large part of this film has been about living in the moment. And we've been trying to capture that in the film. That's why we're out here in Hawaii as a big crew, all living together in tents, shipping containers, just out in nature. How do you think that aim to live in the moment has been affecting you as an athlete?
Well, I mean, I think everyone has times when they're down or they don't feel like doing anything and they kind of feel sorry for themselves. Like everyone feels that way, and I've found that like the only way to ever feel amazing again is to literally put everything down and grab my bike and ride my bike. And whenever I do that, I get into the flow state, like just kind of get into the rhythm of what I'm doing, whether it be like riding my bike down Silver Star Bike Park, riding laps, and you forget about everything. It's just you and your bike. Or if it's me doing laps in my backyard, you know, walking up to the top of the jumps, catching my breath, dropping back in. It's all the same feeling. And it makes you just kind of forget about everything that's going on in your head, and you find like the fullest enjoyment out of it.
So getting into that mindset is something a lot of athletes talk about. How does that change for competition? You say going for a bike ride and being on your bike gets you into the flow state, but can you access that mindset straight away in a competition? Or how do you prepare for that?
I don't know.
These are some curveball questions. I didn't expect these.
Oh yeah, dude, we've been hitting.
Yeah.
Well, when you're in a contest, your nerves are automatically higher than they'll ever be. So yeah, I mean, working backwards. So you're at the contest, your nerves are high. Therefore, when you're training, you kind of have to try to get your nerves high there as well. And the way to do that is to kind of go out of your comfort zone and scare yourself a little bit. And I mean, it's easy to do, especially if you're in a facility or you have the resources you can to learn new tricks or try something new on a different feature, or do X amount of repetition on a certain trick. Like, you can get your nerves going. And I think that's ultimately how you prepare yourself for competition the best. Like, for me, it's like, I know I'm going to show up to the contest. I know I'm going to have to do my hardest tricks on features I maybe don't like. So when I'm back home or I'm practicing, or if I'm riding just at a friend's house, it's always the thought of like, okay, I'm going to try going out of my comfort zone and trying to do a trick on a certain jump that maybe I'm not comfortable with. And yeah, that kind of gets you into the mind space and ready for competition. Because if you scared yourself at home or on the local dirt jumps or whatever, and you pushed yourself and you succeeded, and it's like, well, if I did that, like I know I can do it somewhere else. And then you show up to a contest and you have that same predicament that you've already been in. But yeah, that also leads into, if that's your daily thing and you're doing that all the time, nonstop, it also gets tiring too. And you don't want to scare yourself, and you want to live a normal life sometimes. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
That slopestyle's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
So all the time in preparation working on your tricks, what's the payoff personally for you that you feel some rewards for all the work?
Well, the times have changed a little bit. I mean, they're always, like, your expectations are always kind of changing. I mean, when I was younger, like just starting to get into slopestyle and just starting to get sponsors, it was like, well, actually, no, before that, it was like when I kind of had the goal to be a slopestyle athlete, the goal was like to get sponsors and to get noticed and to gain respect. And then, you get that, and it's like, okay, well, now it'd be sweet to start doing well in contests. And then eventually I started podiuming contests, and then eventually I started winning contests. And now I don't really want to go and come second at a contest. That's never my goal. So lately it's been, accepting that you can't really win them all. I don't think it's possible to win every contest, or at least to think that you can win every contest. I think that's a total wrong way to go about anything. I find enjoyment when I've done the best I can and I'm stoked on the run I did in a slopestyle contest, or if I'm filming and I go out of my comfort zone and we build something that's sick and the film crew's stoked and everyone's stoked. That's when I find the most enjoyment. Or or if it's, you know, a video clip I put up on the internet, or a film segment that gets launched, or a movie and it's well received, and you get people commenting and hitting you up saying how awesome that was, that's where I get the most fulfillment, I think. Yeah, the slopestyle contest thing is tricky right now because there's lots of people who want to win, which is sick because there's more people coming into the sport. It's building the sport, but it's making it harder to be, you know, as consistent at winning all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it must make it tough. New riders coming in, you want the sport to grow, but at the same time, that makes it more challenging. Okay, so let's imagine you land a run. You don't know the score yet, but the run you just landed, that's what you had in your head. You feel you really put that down, what you wanted. Like, talk us through that. How does that feel emotionally for you? What's going through your head?
That feeling, I mean, that happened at Rampage this year. I crashed in practice just before the contest started. And I didn't actually go up for another practice run because I was still kind of injured. I had like bruised a rib, so I couldn't go up and practice before they ended practice and contest start. So I crashed. I'm like kind of getting over the fact that I crashed. They called practice, so it's like no more practice. The contest is starting. I hadn't done a full lap from top to bottom, so I had no clue what it would feel like to go from the top of the line to the bottom and do all my tricks in one line. I thought it was going to be impossible. We hadn't got much time to really be on the bike because the builds were so big and intricate. So yeah, the contest happened. I'm at the top, about to drop in. I'm psyching myself up. I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, you never like for me, I'm never like, this is going to be sick. I'm going to land this run. This is going to be the dopest shit ever. I'm like, holy shit. Like, keep it together. Like, don't fuck up. That's what I'm thinking. And you know, before you know it, they've called me to drop, and I'm rolling down the start, and that's when you hit the flow state. So I'm in the flow state, and I'm just doing exactly what my mind is telling me to do and what I remember from practice how to do. And I get to the bottom, and I've landed that full run that I have only thought of. I've never practiced. I haven't done that full. I don't know what that feels like yet. So I've just done that, and I've got to the bottom, and I didn't crash, and I did all my tricks, and that was like the best feeling ever. Because I landed it, and I didn't even care what they scored me. Like, I remember I was waiting for the score, and I was like, I don't even care. I almost was like, I'm not even going up to do another run. Like, I don't even care if I'm in second place. I'm not doing another one. Like, I'm just so happy and relieved that that's where they put me. And then they put me in first, and I was like, oh, like I can't not go up just in case. Anyway, I rambled on and I forgot the question.
No, that was good. That was an interesting insight. The question was basically, just what the feeling is like. Just athletes put themselves under so much pressure to perform. And how does it feel to you when that does pay off? What is that feeling? The
best feeling that I think anyone can ever get, and this is just based off my opinion and what I feel, is winning a contest, is winning a slopestyle contest. Slopestyle tricks and training, the training that you have to do for slopestyle contests, and like it just everything in a whole, like to land all of those complex tricks back to back to back perfectly, smoothly, get to the bottom, and they've awarded you a first place, and nobody that day has been able to bump your score down and put you into second. That is the best feeling. Getting first place at a contest against the world's best athletes, that is the best feeling I've ever had in my life. And that's why it's such a slippery slope to get in that position, because when all of a sudden you've had that a dozen times or a half dozen times, you've won the contest, there's no satisfaction in putting that same amount of work in and coming second.
Yeah. And that's the slippery slope.
And it gets dangerous then, because then you're in it to win, and it's almost becoming the wrong reasons to do it. And it can put you through some hurdles. It can throw you into depression, and it can mess with you pretty badly. I think the best people out there, people that could be better than like what I am or what the best athletes are, they don't care what they come in, even if they are the best. Second place, third place, if they screwed up, it's all good. I think that's the best mentality to have. But when you put yourself in that the shoes that you can win and then you don't, you come shy of the win, it hurts.
Yeah, that's a super interesting insight, especially to hear your comment on the possibility of aiming not to care where you can place and how that might impact you as an athlete. Early on for you, what was one of the moments that made you realize that biking is something that you do really want to do seriously and take on?
Well, in high school, all through my school years, elementary school, high school, mountain biking was always like the thing that I did after schools, on the weekends, through the summers. And then towards the end of high school is when I started traveling and just seeing, how it would be to compete against some of the best riders in the world, and see if it was something I was into, see if it was something I had a slight chance at even trying. And I had a job at that point working for a cabinet making company. So we made like custom libraries for like super rich people in Toronto, and like really expensive kitchens and stuff like that. And that was 2009, I think, when I was 16 years old. And at that point, I was like, I'd gone to Crankworx, Colorado, which was a slopestyle contest in Winter Park, Colorado. And I didn't do well. I showed up, and I'd seen all these athletes for the very first time. Like this is the first time I'm like looking at Brandon Semenuk and Graham Agassi and Cam McCall, just as a little 16-year-old Grom. Those are the people I looked up to at the time. And I made it like 20 minutes into practice, and I ended up over-rotating a backflip, concussion, altitude sickness. But just that feeling of being there, I wanted more of it. And I'd been putting my time into this cabinet making job, and I hated my boss, and I didn't like the work that I was like sanding trim, and it was terrible. So at that point, I had a decision to make. It's like at that point I was getting near the end of high school. Probably like the average kid would go to college or university, and at that point I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to make this mountain bike thing happen. So I talked to my boss, and I'm I'm gonna quit. and I thought he was gonna be so mad at me. I just thought he was that kind of guy. And he's like, okay, sounds good. He's like, what are you gonna do? And I said, I'm gonna try to be a mountain biker. And he's like, okay, well, good luck. And and then that was the last kind of real job that I had.
And then what came next?
Well, I remembered, so I guess that's kind of where it got way more exciting, because then I was like, okay, well, I don't need to go to work anymore. I don't have high school, and I don't have to go to work. Like, I can literally ride my bike all day, every day, whenever I want, and practice to be as good as I need to be or want to be for a contest. So at that point was when I just started like going to Joyride 150 every day, and trying to hit up more contests. I think the following year I booked 4 flights to different contests, and
How did you do in them?
I did terrible. Absolutely terrible. but I went to those contests and I started to learn how they worked and how these other slopestyle athletes were, and started to learn what my lifestyle was going to start looking like.
That's cool. And when did you start to, or even now, when do you feel most comfortable on your bike, most at one, just out on your bike and at peace with everything?
Probably when I'm training for slopestyle in the backyard, riding on my own with music in. Nobody's telling me what to do or asking me to do things. I'm just there for myself, listening to music, getting fired up. Probably like during the middle of slopestyle season when it's just me and my bike. I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to that this winter, because I'm going to Sweden for a month, just to train for Crankworx Rotorua. With this film shoot and my Utah segment all kind of back to back to back, it's been, I've been on my downhill bike for literally 6 months, which I've never done before. And we're under 2 months away from a big slopestyle contest. So I have a lot I need to be working on, and I'm excited to finally just be in Sweden. No distractions. I have one goal, and it's to get ready for Crankworx Rotorua slopestyle. So I can imagine I'll get into that groove and start enjoying the fact that I have no obligations other than what I want.
It kind of falls into the theme of what we've been pushing in both with your Utah segment and here in Hawaii. Really striving to be in the moment and hoping that comes through into the final video, the final product. While working on it and having that message at the forefront of our minds, has that changed anything for you on shooter and day-to-day life?
Well, I think it's just I've had many return to earth moments on this movie shoot where I'm building. It's normally when I'm building for these segments, I'm like up there on the ridge in Utah, right below this massive 200-300 foot cliff, looking out over the desert floor. No phone, no music, just me, shovel, taking in the scenery and everything that's going on, the building crew, being around the people I want to be around, just like fully enjoying how beautiful the surroundings are, because these sections that we filmed are absolutely stunning. And yeah, here in Hawaii, like kind of waiting to drop in for a shot. again, no phone, no music, just Reed and I up on a ridge, like overlooking Hawaii and the ocean. It's pretty awesome just to take it in. And yeah, the films reminded me of it, like otherwise I maybe wouldn't think that, because I'm on my phone so much that you don't really sure, I look out over the view and whatever all the time, but I'm never thinking like return to Earth. The return to Earth thing is kind of fun because I think of it as I'm overlooking something epic or like looking at my surroundings in the middle of the forest or something. It's kind of a fun thought.
Yeah, it's been a fun concept. Do you think it will encourage kids maybe to, when they're out on their bike, just to look at the forest and just try and enjoy it a bit more?
I think it's a friendly reminder. I think probably it will, but the fact that in 2019 we have to promote things through social media and the internet, it slightly goes against what the film is, but like how else are we going to push this thing in front of people? Put a laptop in the middle of the forest and hopefully someone stumbles across it.
Yeah.
Or, like how else are we supposed to get it in front of people? So yeah, I think the message is strong. It's powerful. It'll encourage people to get out and ride their bikes ultimately. And when you do that is when you realize, how beautiful it is to be in the nature and to be doing exactly what you want to be doing. So, and then that's when people will kind of take a breath and look around and soak up Earth.
Yeah, man, nicely said. Getting people out on their bikes. So for the Utah segment, what was that like, changing things up a bit, pushing the scope of the build, getting the machines involved? What was that like, changing things up so much for a Utah segment?
There's a lot of things. Okay, well, first of all, that landscape is like endless for possibilities to build mountain biking stuff on. That's why everyone goes there, because the dirt is like shoveling snow. It's super light. It's a little bit hard to pack. You need the right amount of water and whatever. It takes some time to do that, but at the end of the day, like, you really can move dirt out there really easily, and there's a lot of natural hits and jumps and step downs that are just there. So that's why everyone goes there. That's why we went there. I mean, I've never done a Utah segment, and I wanted to go do that for a film, and be able to use the terrain and see what we could do with it. So not only did we have that good terrain to use, but we were able to use an excavator as well, which is what nobody's ever had out there. And of course we had some haters, other athletes who who have been out there in the past and haven't had that resource. I mean, they could have. They just needed to go through the permitting and all the stuff like lower down that you could make happen by spending like a week or two with 10 dudes to try to like move the dirt. We were able to do like instantly with the machine. So I was able to do a lot more stuff near the bottom of the mountain. And we were able to do a lot more shoots overall in the time that we were there, because we had a 4-man dig crew plus the excavator. So while Dustin is digging some new feature down by the bottom, the other three of us are up like digging a line way at the top. And then once that was done, Dustin would be done moving on, and we would all go attack like the machine built feature that he had prepared for us. So it allowed us to like get a lot of stuff built for the section, which was sick.
Wanting to push the boundary for the segment meant that Brett had a lot of riding to do. The whole time risking big tricks. Here we are at day 10. We're in a bit of a different section today, and the dirt's riding a lot slower. Brett is trying to figure out how he can get enough speed riding on this tacky dirt to fit in a big 720 on his downhill bike. And it doesn't all go to plan.
It just sucks that I tried to ride it out, and then like I had momentum from like landing, and then that sends you like literally halfway down the landing. It was like a
Brett's talking to bike mechanic Fraser Newton.
under rotate, same as always, and then like try to like steer it, but then it was like kind of like that, and then I just wadded.
Although the run-in was shaded and slow, the landing had been getting hit by sunlight the whole morning and was compacted hard. Right before the crash, Brett was talking to Fraser and pointed out his concerns about this very thing.
16 and 17 rampage, but I under-rotated a 7 on this thing in contest and slammed super hard, so it always trips me out.
Here's the full playback of Brett's crash.
Okay, dropping in. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Brett being Brett takes a break and then nails it.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Everybody's fucking cheering up.
Okay, sick.
So sick, dude.
Okay, am I getting ready to do one more right now?
And then wants to keep riding. Now back into the interview. And we definitely wanted to push the boundaries for the Utah segment, give you something unique to ride, and show a Utah segment that no one had really seen before. And we drew this connection the other night talking about how Pipeline here in Hawaii is a bit of a rite of passage for surfers here. Do you think the same can be said for Hawaii with riders putting out a Utah segment?
I think that people go out there. I don't think everyone needs to do it. Like for me, I haven't done it until now. Like my whole career, I've never gone to Utah to film until now. I don't think you need to do it. The reason why people do it is because it's really easy. All you got to do is drive a truck with a couple dudes who know how to dig and some shovels to Utah, rent a house, get a hotel, and go into the desert and build a couple lines and hits, and bring a filmer along with you, and then you got a Utah video, and you can fit in right with everyone else. I think that's why people do it, because it's super easy. The dirt's awesome, and I mean, one of the biggest mountain bike contests in mountain biking is based in Utah, and part of the reason why people get invited is because they can prove that they ride that train. So, yeah, I guess that's the other reason why you'd see lots of people doing Utah videos as well.
You talked about the dirt here being like snow. Do you ever draw from other sports, snowboarding or skiing or something? Do you ever draw from that for either your riding style or your building that you're looking for?
Yeah. Yeah, I like watching skiing and snowboarding. I think it's really sick, like how they do tricks. And I don't even really know like what to call those tricks, and if they did like some crazy spin trick off a big air jump or something, I wouldn't even know what to call it. But the style that those athletes have in the air is like exactly what I want to look like. I want to have like a 1080 that looks like all those big air dudes that compete in X Games. And then those features too, they translate over into mountain biking too, like big ski booter style step down and big air jump. I mean, it's all a little bit different, but yeah.
Yeah, and was it that mindset that you went into Utah with?
I wanted to go. There've been athletes who have done it before, but I wanted to go with a slopestyle bike and my downhill bike and film kind of two different kinds of riding: slopestyle riding in that big mountain terrain, and then I also wanted to try to push myself in the big mountain on my big mountain bike. And that was kind of what I wanted to do. I had just gotten off of a really, really long, crazy season. So I wouldn't say that I was as on it as I could have been if this segment was like in April, per se. I'd just been training and building and filming and doing that ever since until Rampage. And then at that point I had like 2 weeks off, and then I had to drive back down to the desert because this segment was going to happen during those dates. So I would say that the segment we filmed, the filming is going to be incredible. The building is incredible. Like what those guys built and how they filmed it is going to be incredible. On my end, I'm not that stoked on, what we filmed. It's going to be cool that I was on the slopestyle bike and my downhill bike, and we were able to use the excavator and have these pretty amazing builds. But at the end of the day, like, if I am putting a month of my time into something, I want it to be next level. And I want there to be things that nobody's ever seen before. And unfortunately there wasn't. And it's just due to busy schedule, like just been pinned all year. And just like everyone, like we all need time off and to refresh and get stoked for the next season, and I'm proud of myself for what we were able to come up with while we were out there, regardless of all the circumstances. So it's going to be a pretty awesome segment. I'm excited to see it.
One of the standout photos you will have seen from the film shoot was Sterling Lorence's photo of Brett Rheeder in Utah on a big rock quarter pipe. This amazing feature built by the Loft crew sat right at the base of the location, so we spent almost every day with this section right next to us, wondering how it was going to unfold into the segment. We show up for an early start on one of the coldest mornings. All the ground is frozen white, and Brett decides he needs to put in some practice on this line while we wait for it to defrost elsewhere.
Zach has like 5 hoods on.
Yeah, you do.
1, 2.
You do. You
every...
have 2 and 3 hoods.
Brett has quite a bit to think about while he works out how he wants to ride this whole line as one take.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to need like a while to session this thing and learn it all first.
Yeah.
To get to the quarter feature that you see at the end, there's quite a few sections he has to ride first. It starts off with a blind lead-in to his first landing. which is also sculpted into a rock. A couple of little berms, and another little rock jump. Which leads him to the first time he tries the quarter pipe.
Oh, fuck. That lip is not steep enough. Like, I totally botched myself.
So Ben Byers comes in and steepens up the lip.
Thank you, Ben.
So Brett is just sessioning this to work out how he wants to ride it. Of course, we set up cameras so that we can find out how we want to film it as well. You never know what he might pull off.
We got what, 2 shots in the bag if we need?
Brett knows this, and it starts to turn into a bit of a film session, even though he's just practicing.
So you guys are just waiting to see if I'm gonna one-up myself.
We stop for lunch not long after this. Rheeder's still working out his line, but soon things start to pick up as Sterling is talking to Brett and shows him some angles he's been looking at for a photo.
Yeah, and then I get up like right here.
One before that. Before?
Yeah, because we went wider. We got the sharp, maybe that one. Yeah.
And at this point, Sterling shows Brett the photo he's after, and you can hear Rheeder likes it.
That's just.
Oh, what? Was that during a shot?
It might not have been in the filming.
That was the one we
had to leave that.
Yeah, that's when we had to leave.
I'm above the rock.
And this is the photo that gets Brett interested in committing to it. But at this point, we didn't know if it would come into fruition, because the focus is really on the film shoot.
Whoa. Crazy, I'm that far away from the rock.
Yeah, that's really cool, the separation.
At sunset, everyone would be heading back to the nearby town of Page to get some dinner after 12 hours in the desert. But for the next 3 days, Sterling stays behind after he sees Rheeder's interest in this photo that he really wants. He spends extra time figuring out the composition for this photo. He had a very particular shot in mind, and some new techniques that he wanted to develop for this one image. I asked him about the shot he was looking for, and he explained how he might not even get the opportunity for it. That he can't risk the whole video shoot trying to get a picture. He can't risk injuring the athlete. So that's why he was spending the extra time setting it up, so that if there was the chance, he could take it. Sterling knew he might not get it, but luckily for us, it unfolded perfectly. Thanks to Brett.
That if I had the.
Well, maybe we can, just to get that shot. Well, if it's up to me, I would want to do it. Because that's one thing that I would be stoked, because I am stoked on the way that looks.
3 days later, and after another full day shooting all day, we're packing up and everyone was ready to get out of the cold desert and go for dinner with another long day ahead tomorrow. Brett starts talking to Sterl and tells him he wants to session the rock quarter and give the photo a go. Perfect, we're on.
All right, Sterl, while I'm here, do you want to try shooting this?
But not if you're saving energy.
You could just tell them I'm gonna session this maybe a couple times.
Aerial cinematographer Colin Jones does some dry runs with Sterling to help work out where he needs the drone for this shot.
Now I know how much time before you get to that first kind of slowdown that you have.
They give it one practice run altogether.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to go at it a little quicker this time.
Okay.
And then go in for the shot.
I'm good when you are, Sterl. Okay, coming down.
And after all these days that Sterling's put in thinking about this photo, he nails it first shot. We reviewed on the Phantom as well.
I want to see the photo.
It's still cool to see your.
I just want to see the position.
And he triggers his flash and takes the photo at the perfect time.
That's just.
Oh,
yeah, it would be. I think
that's
getting.
sick because I'm looking downhill.
Bam, into the high five. Nice, dude.
Sick.
Yeah.
All the hard work is paid off. Sterling may annoy the heck out of me since he talks so much while I'm trying to record sounds, but he does take damn good photos.
Yeah, that's a sick shot.
Yeah, that's one.
Oh, nice, Rheeder.
Now back into the interview. Yeah, and you see in particular in freestyle and slopestyle riding, people always just pushing the boundary of what's coming next. What is your motivation for just pushing that next step?
Well, I think it's what we talked about earlier. I think it's the fact that if you're doing new tricks, progressing your riding in the sport, you have a good chance at bringing those tricks to the contest and winning the contest. I think it's, for me, that's what it's for, or filming a segment and doing a trick that no one's ever seen. But that being said, though, like the filming versus contest, like it's cool to watch a video, like it pumps you up, you get psyched when you watch a good video, but at the end of the day, like for slopestyle, I mean, who knows how many times it took that guy to do that trick for the film. He could have tried it 30 times before he threw it, whereas a contest, you have to be on it and do it first go. And not only that, but do it first go followed by every single other one of your best tricks. And everything has to be perfect. So comparing a new trick in slopestyle contest versus slopestyle video is not that comparable.
With contest playing such a large part of your drive, what do you think if you weren't competing, if you weren't always pushing that boundary, thinking about how it might play out for you in competition, what would your riding look like? Do you think you'd be riding the same? Do you think you'd still be pushing those tricks?
I don't think so. I think that if contests weren't a part of who I am, I probably wouldn't be pushed as much to elevate the sport and my riding in terms of slopestyle tricks. But you got to also think too, like, how long do you want to do the same thing for? For me, I've been at it for, I'm going on 8 years.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
You guys working over here?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Just making sure everyone is okay.
Yeah.
We all got heat stroke and
Yeah.
Sorry, we just got interrupted by Matt Hunter there, as we're set up right next to his tent. He just wanted to see why there was a truck parked up next to him. Yeah, so you were talking about how long you...
how long? Yeah, so for me, I've been doing this, I'm going on my 8th season of operating the exact same way. There's a lot more to life for me than continuing to do the same thing over and over again. I've been fortunate enough to do well in slopestyle contests, and it's given me the resources to only continue progressing. And I'm going to do that for as long as I want to. Right now, I want to keep going. So, you could expect for the next 2 to 3 seasons that I'll be doing the same thing. But if I were to stop competing right now, it's hard to say, but I don't think that I'd be as hungry to like learn new tricks and push the sport in that way. But I mean, who knows? It could, if I actually just didn't compete and I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs, I'd probably go crazy. So it's a hard one to say.
Yeah. So what's it been like here working with Reed Boggs and yourself of the opening segment? And I think this is one of his first bigger shoots. What's that been like for you working with him, seeing him come in as a new rider to filming?
Yeah, Reed did a good job. I would say he did a better job than my first shoot. Like he knew the process a little more than you'd think someone who hasn't filmed with a big film crew would. When Reed and I showed up, which was a week and a half before everyone else, or maybe, a week and a half. We had like a full segment, an introduction segment to Return to Earth for just us that we had to film. So I've actually never like really ridden closely with Reed, and I've never hung out with him outside of just like the odd time I see him at a contest or a mountain bike festival. So yeah, it was good. I got to learn. I got to know Reed a lot better than I did before, and he's a really chill dude, and he loves mountain biking, and he's so stoked to be out here and filming with everyone. It was good. We had a section of the trail where I was leading him on some of the bigger jumps, and then the filmers asked us to switch it up, and he was leading on another section of trail, and he was so fired up to be leading me down the trail.
I'm working out here on these shoots and other ones. What's it like for you to have such a catalog of experiences you've had and where you've traveled and the riding you've done, all captured on film as moments in your life? How do you appreciate these moments that you now have?
Right now, I don't appreciate them as much as I'm going to. I think like with where I'm at and my goals moving forward, it's the best thing ever to just keep on keeping on and like not sit so amazed in the moment. I did that for, like when I started traveling and competing, I thought that the whole thing was just mind-blowing. I couldn't believe I was getting on a plane with my bike and traveling to Europe and competing in a professional contest, like thinking every single thing is so big and special, because it is. I know it is, trust me. But I think it slowed me down a little bit, because then there's people who are just focusing on the contest or the film shoot, and it went to show like they did better because that's what they were focused on, not so much that the world is such a crazy place. I appreciate it, like being here and all the experiences that I get to do, and one day I'm going to sit back and really appreciate it. And I know that that's coming. But while I'm in this career and while I'm trying to travel and compete and film at the highest level, I got to kind of take it with a grain of salt and put it on the back burner a little bit. But yeah, one day when this is all done and I'm not a mountain bike athlete anymore, is when I'll have some pretty awesome stories to tell and then to remember and really enjoy.
Yeah, well, thanks. That's probably a cool place to leave this. You driving home the point of how in your career you are yourself living in the moment. That's a nice message and final comment for the interview.
Yeah, nice, dude. It's getting spicy, isn't it?
Yeah?
Yeah,
Dude, thanks for hanging with the hard questions.
Yeah, no worries. I hope I don't hear myself and be like, what the I don't have that much of a filter. So
Thanks for listening. That was taken from an interview with Brett Rheeder on location in Hawaii for the film Return to Earth. I'm Jonathan Osborne from Anthill Films. The interview and questions were also carried out by Matthew Butterworth. If you're interested in seeing the film, you can now stream it on Amazon Prime. Links are in the description. Catch you next time.